440 MHz. That's the spectrum block America just handed its carriers. And it could decide who controls 6G. On July 22nd, the FCC voted to auction 160 MHz of upper C-band spectrum, the 3.98 to 4.14 GHz range. 160 MHz, one vote. But here's what makes this different. Combined with the lower C-band cleared back in 2020, this creates a single contiguous 440 MHz Super-Band, 3.70 to 4.14 GHz, one continuous highway. That's the widest contiguous mid-band block anywhere in the developed world. Mid-band is the sweet spot. Enough coverage, enough capacity, and this auction alone is expected to raise between $30 and $75 billion. For context, the last C-band auction in 2020 pulled in over $80 billion. This isn't incremental. This is the US doubling down on mid-band. Now here's the part most coverage is missing. This isn't just about faster phones. Mission-critical networks. Mid-band spectrum is exactly what's needed for low latency, high reliability use cases. Think first responder communications, factory automation, connected vehicles. More contiguous spectrum means fewer interference gaps. Fewer gaps means networks that can actually be trusted for life safety and industrial-grade reliability. That reliability bar is exactly what 5G mission-critical networks depend on. But scaling this takes years. Deployment starts in the top 75 markets by December 2030. The rest of the country waits until July 2031. So this is a long game, not an overnight switch. But there's a catch nobody's talking about. This spectrum sits right next to the band aircraft altimeters used for landing. 4.2 to 4.4 GHz, critical for aviation safety. So the FCC built in a buffer band, power caps, tower height limits, and altimeter retrofit rebates for airlines. Safety first, speed second. This is the same tension every mission-critical deployment faces. Innovation versus interference risk. So who actually wins from this? 3,248 new flexible use licenses go up for auction across the contiguous US. Every nationwide carrier gets a shot at deeper capacity exactly where they need it. But winning bidders also inherit the transition costs. Satellite relocation, altimeter rebates, clearing costs. The real price of a license is the bid, plus everything layered on top. Satellite operators aren't losing out either. SES alone is set to receive over $5.6 billion in relocation payments. Now here's the question that decides whether mission-critical 5G actually delivers on this promise. And I'll answer it right after we look at what happens on the ground by 2030. The question is simple. Can capacity alone guarantee reliability? The answer? No. Spectrum is necessary, but mission-critical reliability also depends on network slicing, edge computing, and redundancy design layered on top of this capacity. More spectrum removes one bottleneck. It doesn't remove all of them. That's why carriers pairing this spectrum with private 5G and network slicing will pull ahead of those treating it as just more bandwidth. This is the real 6G groundwork, not the headlines, the layering. And that groundwork starts now, even though full deployment doesn't land until the 2030s. To be clear, this is the FCC's own framing. The agency projects over $264 billion in GDP impact and 1.5 million jobs from this auction. Independent verification of those numbers will take years. What's certain today? 440 MHz of contiguous mid-band spectrum, a 2027 auction deadline, and a decade-long rollout. Whether that translates into mission-critical reliability depends on what carriers build on top of it. That's this week's signal worth watching. See you next week for another top telco news of the week. Follow and subscribe to Techtonic and our Substack page for more insights on 5G, 6G, and future of telecom.